Okay, so I visited Bucaramanga, Colombia for about 2 weeks, and I just wanted to pop in and give you a quick review of my stay. Now, if you're not aware of Bucaramanga, it is the capital of the department of Santander in north central Colombia, and it is the largest city in Santander. Bucaramanga is located near Bogotá, which is the capital of Colombia, and it has a population of more than 600,000 people. And if you count the metro area, it's more than 1 million, okay? Now, what is Bucaramanga known for? Well, Buca is known for many beautiful parks. In fact, so that it has been given the nickname La Ciudad de los Parques, which means the city of parks. A couple of other things about Buca is that it does have an international airport called Palo Negro Airport, and it is one of the cities in Colombia with the lowest unemployment rates, which probably explains why I did not see a lot of homeless people there, which is a good thing. Okay, so first impressions of Bucaramanga. When I stepped up the plane and started looking around, one of the first things I really noticed was the beautiful weather. It was nice weather, wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold, was just right. Hey, so I just landed here in Bucaramanga. Just came here from Bogotá. Don't know how long I'm gonna be here, but just gonna check it out. Heard a few good things about it, so check it out. Also, the city had a nice vibe and nice energy to it that pulled me in to want to learn more about it. The people seemed nice and everything, and it was just good vibes. Now, as I started walking around and soaking in the city more, there were 4 main things that I really noticed. And that was a lot of vendors, a lot of parks, and a lot of casinos and karaoke bars. So that's just some of the things that stick off the top as far as some of my first impressions of Bucaramanga. Now let's talk about the food in Bucaramanga, okay? Food in Bucaramanga was typical Colombian food. I mean, it wasn't bad, wasn't like something that made me jump out my seat or anything, but it was good. You know, typical Colombian dishes, the sancocho, ajiaco, bandeja paisa, things like that. But it's a variety of different type of restaurants you can go to. But most of it is going to be your typical Colombian food. You're not going to get a lot of variety or anything like that. And some places will be better than others. Okay, so I visited this restaurant over near a restaurant called Mr. King. This is over near a mall called Centro Comercial La Isla. Okay, so it's in this area. Let me show you. And I ordered the cazuela de mariscos, which is like a mixed stew of seafood. Let me show you. Hopefully you see all that. It comes with that marisco stew, rice, patacones, aguacate, and a big pitcher of lemonade for like $7 US. So you can't beat that. So I'm gonna dig in now, and I'll let you know how it is before it gets cold, okay? Okay, so far so good. Everything is really good. Cazuela de mariscos is really rich. Patacones with a little aguacate is really good. and the arroz. Really good. I usually get this ají. This ají with it, it's like their version of hot sauce. It's like a saucy mix of crushed peppers and things like that. It could be real spicy, so it gets some taste getting some used to. But sometimes it's all right with me now. I'm used to it, I guess. And I put that on everything. And then, not to mention this big pitcher of lemonade just for me. Just like I said, I got this whole lunch special, around 35,000, well, around 40,000 total, food and drink. So that comes out about $8 US, $8. I'm not complaining. Okay, stay tuned. See you in the next one. Yeah, it's this big old giant ant. Big giant monument out here. I've heard that they're known, this ant is a big, not only just a big landmark out here, but it's a big symbol because they're known to eat what they call the big booty ants here. They're high in protein and like an aphrodisiac. So they're known to eat these ants. I haven't tried them, really don't want to try them, but they're known to eat these. So you may like that delicacy. I'll leave it up to you to try. Go. You know I got to get my pick by the ant, okay? Big ant, big ant. Okay, so Spanish. Yep, you're gonna need to know some Spanish coming to Bucaramanga, okay? Most people I ran into didn't know any English or very little, so it's beneficial to know some Spanish. And it's beneficial overall to know Spanish because it's a large secondary language across the world and it can open up another side of the world for you, okay? South America and beyond. So put some time into learning Spanish. It's definitely not a waste of time and it can make your experiences a richer experience. Now, of course, you can use your translator and have your head buried in your translator 24/7, but trust me, it's not the same experience as being able to communicate with the locals face to face and being able to really connect, okay? So, hey, you can crack up in a book to learn some Spanish. There's apps out there you can get started with. There's all types of methods to at least learn some basic Spanish. So it's no excuse. And if you're going to South America, especially coming to Buca, it will really work wonders for you. A little Spanish goes a long way, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so where are the best areas to stay in Bucaramanga? Well, the best area to stay is, I don't have that much experience with the city to say the best areas to stay. I can only tell you my experience and what I would recommend. When you go to a city, to me, I always aim for the center of the city or near the center of the city or near an area that is walkable, has a lot of amenities like restaurants and shops that I could easily find and go to. So in this particular trip, I stayed in 2 different buildings, which seemed to be a popular place to stay, which is Edificio Strata Suites and Torre Elite Condominium. Okay, now these 2 areas and buildings, they were nice building staff and everything. Both of the areas were walkable. I could easily find restaurants and shops and things like that. And the neighborhoods felt safe. Now, Edificio Strata Suites was over there by Carrera 24 and Calle 36. And Torre Elite Condominium was over near Carrera 18 and Calle 40-ish. So they weren't that far from each other, probably 10 or 15 minutes away. But just like I said, it's all opinionated. I think anywhere you find and you ask questions and it's near amenities and it's walkable and things like that, then you should be fine. But those are two that I could personally vouch for. The only thing I had problems with in the first place, which I actually liked better, was the Edificio Strata Suites. It was just a problem with ants, the little tiny sweet ants type of problem. And hopefully that got that taken care of. And that was just one of the apartments here because they have like 15 floors or whatever. That was just the particular issue that I had with that. And it had a balcony and everything. So, and the Torrey Elite condominiums, that was good too. Like that area was nice and everything. And it has multiple apartments too. It didn't have a balcony or anything, but I don't know what it has in every apartment. Also, on the top floor of that Torrey Elite condominium, it had a big, it had a gym that was well equipped with cardio and weight equipment. It had a pool and everything else. So it's just all opinionated. Those are things in places and areas that I could vouch for. Okay, so getting around in Bucaramanga. Getting around, in my experiences, was very easy. Okay, I did a lot of walking, a lot of places. If it weren't that far from each other, like less than 30 minutes away from each other or whatever, I opted to walk because it gives you a chance to enjoy the scenic route, the weather and the nature out there, and also it saves you money. So I recommend walking whenever you can. And also I took a lot of rideshare apps. I use mostly Cabify, the InDriver. They also have Uber out there. But if you know anything about me and watch my other videos, I don't recommend using Uber in Colombia because, long story short, is that when you get a Uber in Colombia, a lot of people don't know, but you are signing a rental agreement to rent the driver and rent that car. And that's a big responsibility, okay? Because if something goes wrong, accident or somebody gets hurt or whatever, you are held responsible in full or in part for something that goes wrong. So I go into that more in depth in my other videos, so make sure you watch those. But that's the long story short. It's simpler just to use alternative apps, from my experience, like Cabify and InDriver, or just like I said, to walk. Also, Buca has a good bus system. I regularly saw buses going up and down frequently, up and down different streets, different areas. So it looks like their bus system is really good. It's called the Metrolínea. I didn't personally get a chance to ride any of the buses, but it does look like a solid bus system and public transportation system. So you may want to check that out too. Okay? So those are the ways to get around in Buca. Okay, so things to do in Bucaramanga. Okay, well, first thing I will say that this is not a touristy type city. This is a city where you probably rarely see tourists. It's just not that type of party. So you are going to have to dig your way into a city like this a bit. Okay, usually when I go to cities, I always check for like a free walking tour or some type of free tour or guided tour or something like that. And I usually check 3 sites for this. I usually check a site called Civitatis, Google Walk, and Beator. And when I checked those sites for like a walking tour for Buca, it came up with nothing. Zip, nada, zilch, nothing. Okay, so I even checked Facebook events, and that was dry too. Okay, so it's really nothing set up to help tourists to sink into the city easier. So you're gonna have to dig your way into this one. Now, some things you can do are, but make no mistake about it, just because there's no tourist events set up, at least that I didn't find, for visitors, don't confuse that with it being a boring city, because it's not, okay? Buca has some very good energy. I mean, you go outside, you hear the music playing, the people buzzing around. There's a lot of hustle and bustle to the city. You can just feel the energy, okay? So if you put yourself out there and maybe tap into some events and things that you like to do, you can meet people and you can take it from there, okay? You can dig your own way. Some things you can do, check out the malls. Very nice malls here in Buca. A few nice malls to check out. They have the Cacique Mall, La Florida, have Mega Mall, and a few more. So definitely go there. Check out the parks. This, like I said, this is known as La Ciudad de los Parques, the city of parks. Okay, so you definitely want to check out the nice parks. Yeah, Parque del Agua, Parque de los Sueños, and so on. So definitely check those out and just get out there and walk around. Walk around. Just like I said, you're going to feel the energy in the streets. You're going to hear the music, festivities. You're going to get into the hustle and bustle and just explore your way. So I just walked up on a fair or something they're having out here in Bucaramanga. There's always something going on in Buca. Break out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to talk to people. And the best way to do it is just to get involved in maybe activities that you're interested in doing. So those are the main things I did. I got out there to the malls, hit the parks, and walked and talked and felt the vibe and met people just like that. That's it, okay? And also at night, they have, especially on the weekend, they have bars, lounges you can go to, have different types. They have discotecas, play the reggaeton and salsa and a lot of crossover type music. Then they have particular salsa bars, if that's all you want. They have a good vibe of everything. So I think it's something for everybody here, but you're just gonna have to dig deeper than those larger cities, and you're gonna have to carve your own way. Bucaramanga about to wake up out here in Buca. Friday, it's about 7 o'clock here. Yeah, it's early, but the city's waking up. Check it out. Something always popping here in Buca. But now it's the weekend and it's about to be really popping. This is a very live and bustling city. People starting to buzz around. Well, they always buzzing around, but they starting to buzz around even more on the weekend. So it's gonna be popping tonight. I do believe that. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about the weather in Bucaramanga. Interesting, because it's not too hot, not too cold from what I've experienced. It was hovering around 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit overall. Really nice out here in Bucaramanga. The weather's really nice. Don't need a jacket or anything. It's not too hot. Nice little breeze. I would say it's right now in the evening, it's about maybe 65, 70, with a nice 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice little breeze to it. So that's it for now. Just wanted to pop in, give you a little view. This is Rich B signing off. Peace. To give you another comparison, if you know anything about Medellin, which is the city of eternal spring, then it's a bit hotter than Medellin, but not as hot as a city like Cartagena. So it's right there in that middle, hovering right there in that middle, getting hot but not too hot, and it was comfortable for me. Nice breeze, everything was cool with me. So is Bucaramanga safe? Fair question. Bucaramanga, hey, all I can tell you from my experience, I didn't feel uneasy or threatened at all. This is one of the most comfortable cities I've been to in Colombia. Everybody was real nice and welcoming to me. The vibe was chill. Going out in the daytime, went out in the nighttime. Everything was just relaxed feeling. And even when I look around and observe the city and the people during these hours, they just seemed like they didn't really have a care in the world. You know, people out on their phones, talking, you know, not really even looking over their shoulders. Day or night, just relaxed and chill. That's what you get in a lot of these smaller cities of Colombia. That's why I like going on the outskirts a little bit and exploring the smaller cities rather than just the large tourist cities, because you get more of a relaxed vibe overall like that. And Bucaramanga didn't disappoint in that area. So yeah, you know, you see even in the nighttime, everything is calm. People walking by themselves, women walking by themselves, older people walking by themselves, walking their dogs. Looked like they didn't have a worry in the world, really chill. So overall, would I say that Bucaramanga, I think Bucaramanga is a very safe city. And I give it my thumbs up. It's all right with me. Felt nothing unsafe about it. It felt so safe to me that I couldn't even imagine anything going wrong here. That's how safe it felt. I definitely recommend that you come here and check it out for yourself. It's definitely a different experience, a different vibe from the larger cities and the typical cities in Colombia like your Medellin, Cartagena, Cali, things like that. Buca has its own vibe. Buca has its own energy, and it's just a matter of preference. But just remember, when you come here, you will need to dig deeper because it's not a touristy type of city. You will have to work a bit harder to carve your way and sink your way into the city and forge connections and find things to do and places to go. But it's definitely not a boring city. It has a good energy to it.